And Karen, lawmakers today saying the traumatic images from that day have lingered certainly in their minds and also in the minds of others along with those who were trapped in the Capitol, including local Congressman Dr. Raul Ruiz.
And tonight, he's looking back on that day. News Channel 3's Peter Doubt spoke with Ruiz. He's here live in studio with the details. Peter.
John and Karen, it was certainly an emotional day for the congressman, who says things escalated very quickly. At one point, he says he prayed to God, fearing for his death. The thunderous noise of hundreds of protesters forcing their way into the U.S. Capitol 1 year ago today lives vividly in the memory of Congressman Dr. Raul Ruiz. That day, he and other House members were directed to grab gas masks and watched as Capitol Police blockaded them inside the House chambers.
There was a real possibility that we could die that day.
Fueled by claims of voter fraud that were spouted by top Republicans, including President Trump, his backers broke into the building where Congress was set to count the Electoral College votes. Ruiz barricaded with his colleagues for 7 hours and says he began thinking in terms of a mass shooter situation.
I explained to them that if all else failed, we would have to attack the shooter, which meant that some of us would die in order for the majority to survive. And that really hit home.
Using his medical training, Ruiz says he worked with a Capitol physician to ensure elderly and diabetic members of Congress were cared for as they were escorted to safety.
Just other members on how to put their gas masks on. I reviewed the mass shooter protocol with individuals, and I was constantly thinking of different possible scenarios of what to do for not only my safety, but also the safety and well-being of the other representatives that were there.
A Coachella man, Juan Lopez, was one of the Capitol police officers who responded to the riot. Footage from the scene shows him fighting back the mob, his face mask and beanie missing after he was pepper sprayed 6 times. Lopez had struggled to hold back the rioters, who went through barricades and shattered windows, forcing lawmakers to evacuate. Ruiz says he had mentored Lopez since he was a senior at Coachella Valley High School, later giving him a job and leading him to Washington, D.C.
And I was so proud of him. And the idea that my mentee protected the mentor. He was out there in the front lines, risking himself to protect me and the rest of the representatives that were in Congress.
By evening, the building had been retaken from the mob, and Congress returned to the floor to continue the ratification of the Electoral College votes. 1 year later, Ruiz says the assault on our democracy should serve as a wake-up call. What do you think, Congressman, we as a country should learn from January 6th? And are you concerned that this could happen again?
I am very concerned that this can happen again. Healthy democracy relies on true differences of ideas and on how we can progress with policy to improve the lives of Americans, and that those ideas can be resolved in the battlefield of elections.
The Coachella City Council issued a proclamation honoring Officer Lopez for his heroic actions. In a statement at the time, he said he was just doing his job and upholding his oath to protect democracy. More than 700 people have been arrested for crimes related to the assault on the Capitol, and Congress has formed a bipartisan committee to investigate the events surrounding it. Coming up at 6:30 on CBS Local 2, watch my full in-depth interview with Congressman Ruiz about the events from 1 year ago, the impact it's had on his life. Reporting live in the studio, Peter Doubt, News Channel 3.